Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sheetal Shukla. I am heading the Department of Geography at Gujarat University, and today my lecture is on applications of GIS for social sciences. My lecture is divided in two parts. The first part I would explain you what is GIS, what are the functions of GIS, and how it is useful for social scientists. And the second part, I would be teaching you the practical part where you can use the software of GIS for making maps for whatever data, socioeconomic data you are using. Now let us start understanding the meaning of GIS. What is GIS? So GIS is Geographical Information System, where geographical information is information about places on the Earth's surface. It is the knowledge about what is where and when. That means the time is also important. And in S stands for system, where system is used for technology. It can be science, which is utilized to understand the concept and theory. And it is for studies in the societal context, basically for social scientists, where we can utilize the geographical information to describe or to interpret socioeconomic data. Now, what is GIS? Let us define GIS and understand the meaning of GIS. GIS is a system of integrated computer-based tools for end-to-end processing. That means to capture, to storage, to retrieval, to analyze and to display of data using location on the Earth's surface for interrelation in support of operations, management, and decision making in social sciences. That means it is a digital map with a database behind it. Database can be anything. It can be social, it can be economic, it can be political sciences. It can relate to any database which can be represented by digital map. So it is a virtual representation of the real world and its infrastructure. Now, what are the components of GIS? There are 5 components. The first thing is hardware, where you require a computer, a system, a printer, a plotter, or any flat board, which are all the parts of hardware. Then the next you require is the software. So there are open source software which we will be using here is QGIS, Quantum GIS. Now GIS softwares are free and open source and anybody can use it. Then the next is data. Data, we all of us know that the social scientist deals with lot of socioeconomic data. It can be related to the population, demography, socioeconomic status, health, education, COVID-19, for example, mapping. Whatever study you want to do, you can use the data in a GIS environment. It requires people, the scientists, social scientists who can work with data in an environment of GIS software on a computer. So you need to have a little bit of training to represent or to interpret your data in a GIS environment. And you have to understand the methods of representation. So how to make map with your data sets, what are the procedures and what are the steps. All these things, components, make a geographical information system. Now, what are the functions of GIS? The GIS capture the data And the input of data into a GIS can be achieved through many different methods of gathering. For example, it can be aerial photography or remote sensing or scanning, digitizing or GPS, as well as any socio-economic data you can put in a GIS environment. GIS also stores the data. So the second function is a data storage. So it store all the digital data, including the spatial data, and even any socio-economic data you would put it would store. Then there is a data manipulation. The digital geographical data can be edited. This allows for many attributes to be added and edited or deleted. Any map you want to make, any attribute can be any socio-economic data, to the specification of the project. So it also manipulates data. It also has a query and analysis of GIS. So GIS was used widely in decision-making process. For example, if you want to ask which district has the highest population density, or which districts require more resources based on the density, such kind of query analysis also can be done in a GIS environment. And the last is the visualization. This represents the ability to display your data, your map and information, where you can explain your socio-economic data in a very well and easy method. Now, why study GIS for social science? Why we should study GIS? Because these days, nowadays, many government projects, almost I would say more than 90% of the government projects are using GIS. It can be anything. It can relate it to natural resource management divisions, like forest department is using, groundwater and sewage supply board is actually, water supply board is using this, GIDM, Gujarat Institute of Disaster Management is using GIS. Any government agencies you take, it is now using GIS for their data planning. Even the urban planning projects like highways, formation of highways, this metro, any transportation, even now the Amrut and smart city projects, land reform department, total sanitation programs, and recently we know that the 108 ambulance health system, Arogya Setu, everything is built up on GIS environment. So there is a widespread use of GIS environment in a government sector. Even the business sector is also using GIS in a very widespread way, prevalent way. For example, for retail site selection or customer analysis, logistic and vehicle tracking and routing, the cost minimization projects, natural resource exploration, where is the petroleum or any other products you want to explore. Then the precision in agriculture, for example, agriculture insurance is completely based on GIS exercise. And any civil engineering and construction work, now even 3D, even now we are putting a solar panel, those all projects require a GIS system. It is also widely used in military and defense, the battlefield management, satellite imagery interpretations, everywhere if you want to go in a forest area or hilly region. So GIS is the most useful, GIS along with the GPS is the most useful tool for military and defense. And for a general purpose and research, where we can employ GIS, we can use GIS in geography, geology, botany, zoology also. And there are social sciences subjects like anthropology, sociology, economics, political science, even the epidemiology and criminology, all these social sciences subjects utilizes GIS in a very widespread way. These are some of the examples where GIS has been applied for zoning, urban planning. We have a zoning, subdivision planning, land acquisition methods, economic development, code information, housing innovation programs, emergency response, crime analysis, and tax assessment. In environmental sciences, it is utilized in monitoring environmental risk, modeling of stormwater runoff, management of watershed, floodplains, wetlands, forest and aquifers, environmental impact analysis, hazardous or toxic facility sightings, groundwater modeling and contamination tracking. So all these sectors require a GIS. In political science, if we look into the redistricting, if you want to divide the districts, analysis of election results utilizes GIS in a very extensive way. The predictive modeling, who will win, the election results, predictions are also actually based on GIS exercise analysis. Then there are civil engineering utilities are also utilizing GIS. The business, as we say, the demographic analysis, site selections, education basically, the attendance area maintenance. Yeah, now we know that the coming into and going, we have attendance system which are there on a mobile system which utilizes your tracking your location and utilizing GIS environment. The real estate, the traffic impact analysis or neighborhood land prices, and that also the real estate market utilizes GIS in a very extensive way, and the healthcare. Now you look into the corona mapping, COVID-19 mapping, Arogya Setu is there. Then you have a lot many dashboard are there. The data are there where you get a maps of corona, COVID-19. So these are the sectors where GIS is utilized in an extensive way. Now let us understand what are the data set of GIS. So GIS utilizes two types of data. The first thing is spatial and second thing is attribute. Now what is spatial data? Spatial data is where is the thing. That means it specifies the location. And that location is stored in a shape file. That is location, as far as we talk about location, we require that coordinates, latitude and longitude, where the things are there, where the things are happening. So you need to have a, first thing you need to have a spatial data, that means some shape file should be there where you can walk. The second thing is very important is the attribute or descriptive data, because once you have a location you just have a map, but if you want to map the other things, for example population you want to map, literacy rate you want to map, COVID-19 map you want to do, then these are the attribute data. What is happening, how much is there, when it is happening, all these kind of research questions you can actually answer with the help of attribute data in a GIS environment. So it specifies the characteristics at that location. It can be natural or human centered, and it is stored in a database table. So basically a database table is you are utilizing Excel sheets for data management, right? So you can put your data in Excel. Now you know that most of the data are available, even the census data is available in Excel format. So you can use those data directly in a GIS environment. So GIS system traditionally maintains spatial and attribute data separately and then join them for display or analysis. For example, if you have a just base map and you have a other attributes data from census, for example literacy, density, you can keep it separately in GIS format. Then you join them one by one and then display and you can analyze. So that exercise we would be doing. So for example, the attributes of table is used to link a shapefile. So spatial data is a shapefile. It's a base map with a database table containing attribute information in order to display the attribute data spatially on a map. So what is attribute data? It can be socio-economic parameters, any parameters which is you want to work is known as attribute information. Now look into the basic maps or base map, spatial data. So what are the types of spatial data? The first thing is a vector format, the second thing is a raster format. What we would be utilizing is only vector format. So what are the types of vector formats of data? There can be points, there can be lines, there can be polygons. So if you want to draw a map, how can you draw a map? With the vector data analysis. And what are there in the maps? You can represent something with the points, something with the lines, something with the polygons. There is another format which is a raster base. Raster base is works on a cell pixel. That means it's a photograph basically, or remote sensing imageries which has a pixels, and all the analysis is based on pixel calculation. But this we are not utilizing right now. We would be focusing on vector data only. But these are some of the representations of how you can distinguish between vector and raster format. So these are the vector format, these are the raster format. Now for example, you want to identify some points. These are some, maybe some poles are there or electric poles are there. So here you are putting some dots, and this is a point feature. And these are the point feature in a vector format. But if it is in a raster format, these are raster format is a grid. So if you see that these points are not exactly sharpened, but these are shown by grids. So how do we capture the picture of that points? That is visible in raster format. The second one is a line. For example, road we want to make, administrative boundary we want to make, or some river is there. So it is a sharp features, line features are there. But when you look into the raster format, again it is a grid based, pixel based. And it is actually some of the pixels are representing, taking the photo of this line. And these are the polygon based. So polygons are very sharp features, polygons are there, but in a raster format the polygons are not in a sharp format. So what is the difference between vector and raster format, and what are the advantage of vector data? Now vector data is a good representation of data. It uses the small file size. It does not require much capacity of the computer, and it is an accurate map output. You have seen that it has a accurate map. Mapping is very accurate. Sharp lines are there. But what is the disadvantage? It is a complex data structure. It is an expensive technology, because photo if you take of the road and if you take imageries, it is very easy to identify everything, but if you want to map, you have to digitize everything. That's why it is expensive and the analysis is complex. But if you use raster data, what are its advantages and disadvantages? The data is simple data structure. Cheap technology is there, because you just click the photograph and you get the data. You take the remote sensing imageries, you get the data. Analysis is simple, same grid cells for several attributes. You just have to count the grid cells. But what is the disadvantage? It is a large data volume, because even if it is a dots, it captures all the data of this frame. Even if this is the only line, it captures all the cells of the polygon. So these are the, and it is inefficient use of computer storage. Sometimes the raster data is so large, it is very difficult to operate, difficult network analysis. Less accurate or attractive map, we have seen that these are not very sharp, boundaries are not there. Loss of information when using large scales. So these are the advantage and disadvantage. Now before going to the practical part, we will just understand some terminology of map. Basically, map is what? The representation of the Earth's surface. Now you have to use some of the terminology when you understand some of the terminology when you utilize the base map. First thing is the projection. What is projection? The projection is a method by which the curved 3D shape of Earth is represented by XY coordinate on a 2D flat. You know that Earth is round. And if you take a picture on the Earth, but when you put it on the paper, it has to be in a 2 dimension only. So, To convert that 3 dimensions picture in 2 dimensions paper, we need projections. And projections are actually some distortion happens because we convert the 3 dimension images in 2 dimension. There are some distortions happens. This next thing is a scale. What is scale? Is the ratio of distance on a map to the equivalent distance on the ground. So that means on a ground, if you want to show the 1 kilometer on a map by 1 centimeter, then the scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer. That means the first one is on paper, second one is on ground. The third one is the accuracy. How well does the database information match the real world? So first is the positional accuracy. How close are features to the real world location? If you draw a map of Gujarat University and give a location, so then we need to see that this Gujarat University map exactly falls on the location of Gujarat University. So the position should be very, very accurate. Second thing is a consistency. So do feature characteristics in database match those in real world? So it is a road in the database, a road in the real world. Sometimes we misinterpret. River becomes road, railway track becomes road. So we have to see that there has to be consistency in the map. And the third is the completeness. If you are actually making a map of Gujarat University, then you have to take all the departments. So you do not have to leave any department. So are all real world instances of features present in the database? That means maybe if you are making a road map of Gujarat University, all roads have to be included. So these are the basic fundamentals of GIS. Now we have seen what is GIS and how GIS is useful to social scientists. Any social scientist can use GIS software to prepare maps from any socio-economic data. So we need 3 things to create a map. The first thing is to understand QGIS software. The second thing is we require a map. And the third thing, we require data. As far as data is concerned, all of us know that we obtain data from various sources, but one of the biggest sources is census. You know that census provides district-wise, state-wise, in fact village-wise data for many socio-economic indicators. So today we will learn, with the help of QGIS software, how we can prepare thematic maps which are representing socio-economic data. So for that, I will start by showing the QGIS software. First thing, I will show how to download QGIS software. So I'll share my screen and show you that how we can download the QGIS software. I will go to Google. I will write QGIS. So the first thing is, the first website is of QGIS, qgis.org. I'll open it. This is the latest version of QGIS 3.14.5. I will go to the download. In download, if we go to the latest version, so this is the latest release and which is reaches on feature, there are two types of downloading data set is there. Now how we can choose what is appropriate version of download QGIS software for our computer. So the first type is for 64-bit system and the second type is of 32-bit system. So we need to check our computer's system version. How we can check? We can go to our this PC, we can go to the properties and check that what is the system of our, here is the system description and system type is we have a 64-bit operating system. So if you have a 32-bit operating system, then you will have to download this version. Now I will put it for the downloading and it has started downloading below. Once it is there, we can go and open in that showing folder and start installing. Now installing is very easy because nowadays we are actually installing many apps. So you have to go next, you have to agree with their condition and then install. Once you install it, you will get the QGIS folder on your desktop. This is QGIS 3.4 and you will get five softwares. The one is desktop and there are other softwares which are a combination of QGIS. Saga is for remote sensing, GRASS is also for remote sensing. But what we require is QGIS desktop. I will open QGIS desktop and I will just quickly tell you about the different menu. You can explore menu bar on your own, but I will just quickly show you some of the basic functions and functions which we will be using for creating maps. This is an open source software and free software. Anyone can download. This is now software has already opened up. I will go for a new project. So this is my canvas where our work will be done. Our thematic maps we can create over here. This is the menu bar. This is the browsing system. This is layers. Now basically we have already learned that the GIS deals with two types of spatial data, vector and raster. And whatever vector data and raster data we open would be there in a layer format. So whenever you open some file, it would be visible over here in the format of layers. Now quickly we would go. Project is for to create, to open, save and specifically export. And even this print layout, making print layout where we would be actually making a final map to compose the map for in a printout layer. Then these are the edit where we know that as we are aware about the edit functions of Word and Excel. Similarly, we have here the edit function. View functions where you can have a this span map is there where we can actually use this hand for shifting the map. So you want to shift to the right and left, you can use this span map. Then there are zoom in and zoom out, all those, and some of the layers we want to show all the layers. So if we want to show the layers, we can use the view. Then there are layers, basically layers. So here we can actually open the data. So I'll open one of the map which I have already downloaded. Now the map which I have already downloaded is a Gujarat map and it is in the form of polygon and that's why it is a vector data. So I will be going to the vector and I will open the map. Here are the three dots. If I click over here, it would actually go to our browsing system. Now wherever I have downloaded the map, I put that map of Gujarat on my desktop. So this is the map of Gujarat, which I have already downloaded earlier, but I will show you how to download also. This is the Gujarat map.shp. Now any vector file you want to work would have an extension of point.shp. So I will open it, add it, and close. So that map has been opened. It is a vector layer. Here it is, that vector layer file name is there, Gujarat map. If I want to see the about the map, these are some of the functions. If you right click, you will be able to see the properties, style, export. Then there are some toggle editing you want to do. Then you have to start with this pencil. Unless and until you press this pencil, you will not be able to edit the things. Then the open attribute table. This is the most important things where we can add as many data as we want. If I open this attribute table, you can see a number of parameters are there. This is already downloaded in format, so whatever was there, data was there, but I have not included here the socio-economic data. But now I have a name of this districts which are there. If I have a data of this districts, any data, literacy rate, density, or any source, even the COVID, corona cases, any data sets we can actually join in this table, and after joining this we can create a map. So I will show you today that how we can join the data and we can create a map. So to join data, I have to prepare separately the data set in Excel file. Now I have already prepared the data in Excel format, so I will open it from over here. I will go to the data source management. Now the important thing you have to remember is, I'll just show you that whenever you have some data in Excel format, these are my data set. I have to, I'll just show you my data. This is Excel. Everyone is aware about very much aware about the Excel sheet. These are the districts, and these are some of the data indicators I have taken: the sex ratio, density, and literacy rate of 2011. These are district-wise data. Now, if I want to join this data to QGIS, what is required is I have to match this district with the districts of the map. This map will take the data from this district. So it is very important that we keep one column or one field similar. So here is the name too is similar, but I would actually request that the name might have some problem because the spelling of some of the districts would be different than the Excel file. So what I do is I would actually give a number to the district. And I will also create here, I've already created one more column that is a number. So I've already given the number of the district, and the number is similar to this file and the Excel file. For example, the first is Ahmedabad. If I start with this, the first one is Ahmedabad, Amreli is second, Anand is 3. If I want to check, I can actually check. I can minimize this and just check with the numbers. Ahmedabad is 1, Amreli is 2, Anand is 3. Here Ahmedabad, Amreli, Anand is 1, 2, 3. If we check in the last one, the Dance, Vadodara and Valsad is 31, 32, 33. So here also the Dam, Vadodara and Valsad are having numbers of 31, 31, 30. That means that one of the field in the Excel file and the attribute table file should be exactly same, so that it would can join the data easily. That means it would take Ahmedabad data in Ahmedabad district only. It would not exchange the data. So this is the most important thing you have to remember. Now, if I want to open this file in a QGIS format, I have to slightly change its format. So I will save as it in a format of CSV file. So here we have an option in Excel. You can actually save the file in the format of CSV, delimited. This is start.csv. So if I use it, start.csv, and save it, I have already saved, so it would ask me to overwrite it. I would say OK. So it would actually save in a .csv data. Now I would like to join this data in QGIS. So I would open this data. How can I open this data? I go to the layer, I go to the data source manager. Here there is a delimited text is there. That delimited text is a cs.csv file you can open over here. So I'll go to the file name, there are 3 dots. I can browse from that. I would go to desktop where I've kept my data in map of Gujarat. This data, if I want to open this .txt, .csv, .dat and .wkt, so this data I can open. I will open this data. These are the data, just we have to check. Now what is the geometry? We don't have to give any geometry because there are no in Excel there are no latitude, longitude, or there are no coordinates. So you will see no geometry is given, and I will add this layer. So now it has added over here. Let me close this. That means I have 2 files. If I want to see this file, open attribute table, I can see there are numbers, there are districts, and there are 3 parameters which I want to map have already have come to the QGIS environment. Now I want to join these 2 data because this has a spatial data, vector polygons, and this has a socioeconomic data. How I can join these 2 data? So I will go to I will right click it, I will go to the properties. In properties, I would go to joins. Here is a joins. In joins, if you click the joins, you will get this window and there are sign of plus. Plus means add new joins. So I want to add new joins, I will click it. Now this data file is already open, so it is asking us that whether you want to join this layer. So we want to join data layer only, so this data is already there. Now join which fields? So we know that we have created a number which are similar in both the files. So I will select number as a joint field, and in target also there is a number. So target means in a Gujarat map where we have created the similar field which is that means these are the Unicode for both of these. So it would join with the help of this Unicode. Okay. Then I will join the fields. Which are the fields I want? I want 3 socioeconomic data which I need to join, and I would have given custom field names, but I want as it is. The name should be as it is. I would give OK, apply. So it has a join layer data is already there, and OK. Now I would see whether it has already joined or not. I would go to open attribute table. I can see that these 3 data sets have been joined with the help of these Unicode numbers. Okay. So now we have this socioeconomic data in the environment of QGIS as an attribute data set. Now this joining is already in a temporary format. So now we have to finalize it. In order to finalize it, we would export it and save save the file as an easily shaped file. Basically, any vector file would be a shape file, known as a shape file, and it has an extension of .shp. So I would give a new name. I would open the folder where I want to save the file. I would go to desktop, I would go to map of Gujarat, and maybe I want to make a map of density or literacy rate. Save. Now it would ask me what would you like to save. Okay, this is this is a coordinate reference system. It has already taken. We don't have to do anything with this. We just have to check that this click should be there. Add self file to map. Why we need to click this? If you will save it, it would show on in a layer format. So if we give OK, it has come to the literacy rate has come to this. Now we will check whether the literacy rate attribute table has data set. So all the three data sets are there, but which are there in a final format. Okay. Now we don't require any other data, so we would actually remove the layers. Now there is a, if you right click, there is a remove layer is there. So we would remove both the layers. We don't have to save them. And this now we don't require this data because it is already imported in a QGIS format. So this also we would remove. Now we have this file which has all the three data. Now I would like to make a thematic map of literacy rate. Then I would go to properties. In properties I will go to symbology. This is symbology. In symbology, the first thing you have to see, there are options that how you would to categorize your data, thematic maps. So there are, for example, I would go to the categorized. Then these are the color you can give. You can actually give any color you want to select. If you can like change the color combination, anything you want, you can select. Okay. I'm keeping this as a color and classify. But I think it is, we have not given any value. So on which parameter you want to classify? So there are already parameters are there. I want to classify this as a literacy rate. So this is a literacy rate where I want to classify. But now it is giving me so many classes. So what I'll do, I want some 4 to 5 classes in order to find out where the literacy rate is high and where the literacy rate is low. So now it is giving me, if I give I can also select here the different colors, like I'm actually, okay, red is fine, but you can also give single blue or green. We would keep it as a green. Then there are 5, you can create as many classes as you want. I have kept it over 5 class and I would say classify. So it has given me 5 classes. Okay. Now 5 classes, literacy has been divided in different ranges. 58 to 71 is the lowest literacy rate, and this is the 82 to 85 is the highest literacy rate. Now how these 5 classes have been made? So there are different techniques. So these are the different techniques. You want to go for the equal interval, you want to go for a logarithmic scale, you want to go for a natural scale, you want to go for a pretty breaks, you want to go for standard deviation, mean and standard deviation. So all these are the different methods which are available over here. I'm actually going for an equal interval and actually given apply. Okay, so now my map is ready. It shows the legend is over here. The dark green shows the highly literate districts, and the lightest green shade shows these are the tribal areas and even the border areas which are having a very low literacy rate. Now I want to finalize this map. How can I finalize this map? So it is very easy to create a map in a QGIS format. Now once the map of literacy rate Now once the map of literacy rate is ready, we need to finalize it and convert it in an image format so we can use this map in our report. So let us see and let us understand that how we can finalize and convert this map in an image form. So to convert it in an image form, we will go to the new print layout. We will go to project. In project there is a new print layout. It is asking us the name, so I would like to make it as a literacy rate map. This is my outcome of the map, this map. So it is giving us a new screen, new canvas where we will finalize our map. So this has a menu bar. In this menu bar we have to add up the items. Now I will actually add the items. If I go to add items and I would be adding the map. So add map is there. Once you click the add map, it will have a plus sign. So you have to click the left click and then drag it and then click it. So your map has come on this screen. Okay. Now once the map is there, now we have to finalize it and convert it in an image. Now to finalize the map or to prepare the map, we need to understand that what are the basic elements of maps. So there are 5 basic elements of maps. The first one is the coordinates, that is latitude, longitude. So we have to give it the coordinates. The second one is a title. Without title, the map does not show any representation. So the title is important. The third is north arrow. So direction is very important. The fourth one is scale, because on what scale you have presented this map. And the last one is region, because if we don't know the region, what is this dark green shows, what the light green shows, the map is useless. So we need to now actually add these 5 elements to this map. So we will go one by one. First thing, once we put the maps, these are the item properties we have to go, and we have a scale we can actually change. This scale is about 30 lakhs, so we can change little bit. If we put 35, we can see that how our map changes with the scale. It is actually reducing, so we can go and see. There is a slight increase. I need to see that in my canvas, what should be the size of. Yeah, I think this is fine. Now I will put a grid. Coordinates is actually represented by grid. So grid is here, I will put a plus sign. This is grid 1 is there, I will select it and I will modify it. Now in this grid, I want some in between lines also. So I put here in between line if I want up to any 2 latitude and 2 longitude. So it is showing us a line at every 2 degree latitude and longitude. I can also change its style. For example, I don't want this black color. Then I would go and I can see that I take it over here. I can change it to the different line. The pattern is given, for example, I can use this grid line, or I can use even the slightly blues, light blue colors. So that is good. So once my grid is ready, I can change even color, symbols, or anything I want to do, I can. Unit interval also we can change it. Now I want a frame. What should be the frame? The frame of this, I want a zebra frame. The zebra frame has some. I can also select its weight, its style. Here it is 0.30 mm is there. I can increase or decrease, but I am keeping it as it is. You can change as per your wish. Then there are draw coordinates. Draw coordinates means we want to give to the coordinates to this map. So I have already put the draw coordinates. Now which unit I want to give? I want to give it a degree minute. So it would take in degree minute. Now where I want to show in left, I want to left side there is a horizontal representation is there. So I will change it to vertical ascending. So it would change to the vertical ascending. We can read it in that way. On right side also I would say vertical descending. So it will give like this. Just change over here. So this has already given the latitude and longitude. Now what else I want is I have already created. Now I want to put a title. So add item is there and I will add label. Add label, if I would take an add label, the plus sign will come. Then I will draw a rectangle. In that I have to type my, so here label has come and its property we can change. I will type the label. It is a literacy rate in Gujarat. August 11 data is there. Now I can change its size. For example, if I go to font, font size I can change. I can also change its color. If I wanted something in the green color, if I want to, or any other color. Still I want to have a bold. Then so increase its size. So it has to be appropriate scale. Okay. Now I will add a region. Add region is there. Now region I am putting it over here. This is the region. I can change its here. Region has come. I can change its size. Go down. You can change the symbol. You can change the font and text formatting. Text font you can change, but I am not changing it. I will just change the position and size I can change because it is too small. So maybe height I can change. I can change its width. If I change its width and height, actually I also have to change its font size. That the title font I can add. Okay. We can shift it over here. Then I would add scale bar, add scale bar. If you add scale bar, I can add the scale bar here. This is a scale bar, it is already given, I can change, but I am not changing its unit. Then you can add a north arrow. Add north arrow, where you want to add the north arrow. Over here. You can change whichever arrow you want to. But I am selecting it. Very simple, whatever is You can change any symbol. You can actually put any symbol. But arrow is there, so you can. So now our map is ready. Its title is there, north arrow is there, scale bar is there, coordinates are there, legend is there. So once it is ready, now it is ready for the print and ready to go to the image. So I would actually then export it. Now go to the layout and there is export as image. So I would export as image. There is literacy, the map, and you can put in a PNG format or you can take in a JPG format. If I take it and if I give a literacy rate map of Gujarat, give a title name to this file, and it will be saved in desktop and map of Gujarat, which I already have created my file folder. Now I can actually increase its resolution. I would increase it to 500 EPI. So to make it just more clear. Now it is now exporting. It says that the export layout successfully exported layout to my folder. So this map is ready. If I click over here, this map is ready for the print. You can change whatever way you want to change. Similarly, you can map the other variables also. This is the one variable you have mapped. You can also map it for the 2001, and then you can interpret that what has happened over a period of time, whether the literacy rate in some districts have reduced or have increased. If it is increased, then at what level it has increased. All these things you can, when you want to interpret, it is easily done. So when you want to interpret the data, when you have a lot of data sets, the variables are more, it is very difficult to interpret. But when it is visually represented, it is easy to save the data and even interpret it. So this is how you can make as many maps you want, and you can change the layout. You can say, you can also save it. The whole project you can save project. I will save it too. You just have to remember where you are saving it. So now it is saved. Now I will just show you that how we can download the shape files from Google or from online. So let me just show you how we can go to the Google. We go to the Diva GIS website. There is a Diva GIS website. When you want a country-wise country data. So this divagis.org is a website where you can download your administrative boundaries of any country up to taluka level. So if you go to download data by country, then it is asking you that which country you want. So we want India. You can also download for other countries. So I am selecting India. Now which subject you want. So administrative, right now we would like to have an administrative, but even if you would like to have a population or elevation, land cover, you can also take that. And then it would give us a country outlines and administrative subdivisions for all the countries, and the level of subdivisions varies between countries. So for India it gives us up to the level 3. So level 0 is a boundary of India. Then I will download it. I'll just put it for download. So now it is downloading. The India admin LEM.zip file is there. Once I would open that, on folder. If I extract the file, it is zip file, extract here, So it has a level 0, 1, 2 and 3. 0, 1 shapefile is only for the India boundary, but I would actually give you a very cautionary aspect, because this India boundary does not take the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, so we need to be very careful in using this boundary. But if you are working at a state level, you can go and use this boundary, there is no problem. So if you want to work for the Gujarat, you can take that boundary. Then one is for the state boundary, the two is state S.SHP is a district boundary for all over India, and 3 is for a taluka boundary. So if I want to open it in a QGIS, we can open it. It is a vector file, so I will go to data source management mode. I have already downloaded, but in download file I have downloaded. So if I go to the file, for example, I want to open the Talpa level boundary. So this is there, SHP. So this is the India. One has to be very, very cautious about this area. So you don't use this area, you don't use the overall India boundary, but when you are working at a state level, you can use this. So this is a shape file. If you go to the attribute table, it has the India label, then state are there, then within the state there are name 2 is a category of the state, then name 3 is a category of that. So up to Taluka level you can get a boundary which are really up. Oh, thank you. Now once